To present the Hall of Fame plaque is Joe Spielman. The plaque reads, Russ McLean for his outstanding accomplishments and significant contributions to the Corvette. Induction to the Corvette Hall of Fame, September 4th, 2015.
Joe told me that the video was well done. And it certainly was. Anyone who loves Corvette is the greatest person in the world. Anyone who has a passion, a long-term vision of what a family's all about, you're a Corvette person. I had prepared a lengthy speech, but quite frankly, after that video, I've got to change everything that I was planning to talk about. The good thing about being the last of the speakers is you can change the approach and the protocol, and you can't mess anybody up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have two families in my life. My family, who is here with us today, and some very good friends, and I'd like to introduce them. And when you stand up, I'd like you to give the Corvette wave to all the people. My wife, Linda, of 52 years of marriage. Our daughters, Coley, and Kristen, and her husband, Ryan, my niece, Danielle, her husband, Scott, and their daughter, Maya, my very good friend, Al Green, who traveled 13 hours to get here today, and our cousins, Carrie and Bonnie Nicholson, and their friends, Dave and Linda Donor. Corvette really wasn't on my agenda when I was young, growing up. I think if you read some of the articles about me, about the only thing I did up until I got out of high school was doodling a little bit in a one-room country school on designs of vehicles. Quite frankly, they looked a little bit like the C5, but who would have known back then? My career really started in GM quite uneventful. Before my senior year in high school, I'd already had 2 knee operations due to football. And I made a pact with my mother that if she would let me play sports my senior year, I'd go to any college she chose. Well, she agreed with that, and she chose General Motors Institute. Now, Will, that was well before your time when you were teaching there. So that really was the linchpin of me getting into engineering. And Corvette wasn't really on the radar until Joe Spielman called me and asked me to take over the platform. I had previously contacted Joe because my parents were in ill health, were destined for going into a nursing home. And my mother asked me if I would come back with Linda and care for them so they could live their last years of life on the farm. So we did. And Joe was extremely instrumental in getting me back, and I was dedicated to him and to the Corvette to make it the best that it could be. The most inspiring organization that I ever moved into was Corvette. The enthusiasm of the owners of Corvettes was unparalleled anywhere that I've ever experienced. The focus and the dedication and the enthusiasm and the capability of the Corvette group, the engineers, anybody that touched the car or were involved in the car, it was heartwarming because they would not say no. They would not back down. They always would say, I don't know how I can do that, but it'll get done. So it was relatively easy to try to pull the group together, get a common focus, put a little discipline in terms of procedures and business plans, et cetera. And it was unbelievable. As Jim said, we were losing $1,000 a vehicle. In 1 year, we went to $2,000 a vehicle in profit. And I'll share with you some of that if you go to the presentations tomorrow. I think my speech is at 11 o'clock because I'll give you kind of an overview of what we did during that period of time. But in the third year of the C4, Joe called me and he said, Russ, you know what the second greatest profit per vehicle, not vehicle line, just the vehicle is in the corporation? I said, Joe, I don't know. And he said, well, Corvette's number 2. And that's saying a lot for a vehicle that only has 17,000 annual sales. But that is a tribute to those Corvette people who were so dedicated and so focused and had so much pride in the vehicle that they were going to do anything they could collectively to make it happen. And we ended up, probably shouldn't say this because it'll probably be in print tomorrow, and hopefully it'll help the stock of GM. But we were making $8,000 a C4 when we finally phased out a C4. And that's remarkable in terms of about a 4-year turnaround. I could stand up here and name 30, 40, 50 people that were involved in making that happen. But it was really a collective team effort and culture. And I was surprised last night meeting both Jerry and John together at the program last night. And the first thing Jerry said is, let's have another meeting and get it started again. Because we really achieved a lot during those meetings on design. We buried the hatchet if there was a hatchet there before. And really we're focused on making the car the best that it could be. And it was really gratifying to go to different shows and talk to owners, talk to people that were there. That just reinforced what we were all about. That reinforced that we've got to be at the top of the heap. And quite frankly, with all the effort on C4 and C5, C5 had the best launch possible of any vehicle that I think General Motors ever introduced. I did have some concern, quite frankly, with the videos tonight. Rick, I gotta say, when that was shown that you were giving your kids a new car on their birthday, I got really a bad frowns from my 2 daughters. So they were wondering, would you really adopt them for a year because their birthday's coming up soon? I really was planning to just have a very brief speech, but I'm going to close this by thanking those who nominated and voted me into the Hall of Fame. This is truly a great honor, and I accept it on behalf of those dedicated and extremely capable Team Corvette people who made C4 competitive in the high sport group and made C5 the top of the class and the best of the best. Thank you very much.